Hello there, my name's Frankel and I'm the author of Get Drawing. I started thinking about writing this book about 7 years ago. I've been teaching people to draw for nearly 20 years and people have really responded to my way of teaching, which involves accepting everyone for who they are and not expecting them to know anything about drawing when they walk through my doors. And I specialize in teaching people to draw. I think it's a myth that you need to be born creative, born with the ability or the talent to love drawing, and somehow people seem to think that you need to know how to draw before you come to my classes. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. I love people walking to the class who want to try drawing, have no clue, sometimes they're a little bit scared, and I put them at ease straight away. I don't expect anybody to already know how to draw if they're coming into my classes. My career as a drawing teacher began with UWA Extension and Drawing for Non-Drawers. I had been doing a few volunteer workshops, but then I began to teach at UWA Extension, which is University of WA Adult Community Education courses. I knew I had to call it something that would attract everybody and anybody who wanted to draw. And if I called it beginners drawing, or drawing for beginners, people would think they have to already be beginner drawers before they can come along. So I called it Drawing for Non-Drawers. A couple of years after I started doing that, people started asking me, do you teach privately? And eventually I started a small class and 5 people turned up and I started teaching privately. Over 17 years, that morphed into a business where I taught drawing 3 times a week and I employed other teachers to teach other art disciplines, and I ran that art school for 17 years and I still teach there. I love dispelling the myth that people have to be talented to draw, that people have to have a creative bone in their body, all of those cliches that people walk in with. I specialize in teaching people who think they can't draw. My opinion is that everybody can learn to draw. Everybody can do it. And the reason to do it is for the pleasure of the doing. I know people want to draw because they want the end result to look like something. They want the end result to look like something that you can recognize. But for me, the most important part is enjoying the process. Because if you're laboring over it and it's painful and you're not enjoying it, then the end product isn't going to be that enjoyable either. So what's the point of doing it if you're not enjoying it? Somehow, drawing becomes something dangerous to do if we don't know how to do it. And that's one of the reasons I love to teach people who think like that, because I say it's just a piece of paper. How dangerous can just a piece of paper be? What's the worst that can happen? So I set about writing a book. It wasn't enough to just have classes. I wanted to spread my word even further. So the book is called Get Drawing, Even If You Think You Can't. And what I've really enjoyed doing is providing simple, basic steps, fundamental steps towards how to draw. And you can learn how to draw. It is not some magic that comes out of your fingers and onto the page and only special people can do that. You learn the skills of observation so that you can look at something so that you know how to draw. You can learn the skill of how do you put shading in to show something looking three-dimensional. You learn the fact that your brain is interfering with you drawing all of the time because it thinks it knows what it's doing, and it thinks it knows what a leaf looks like. It thinks it knows what a face looks like. And that interferes with what a face really looks like. So I teach you step by step how to avoid your brain thinking like that and how to observe things so that you can draw them and that they look realistic. Most of all, I hope I bring to you the pleasure of drawing and stop you from being scared to do so, and try and put aside those judgmental thoughts that have stopped you from drawing in the past. Having taught so many people to draw, I noticed that most people have the same sort of error-making assumptions, and over the years, it's almost like I can read their minds because I know that they're going to do something a certain way. So in the book, I have got watch points at the end of each chapter for you to go through, so that when you've done your exercise and you don't know whether it's right or whether it's wrong or whether it's something that I've instructed you to do, you can go through those watch points and check whether your work has those points in it, whether they are points that need to be corrected or whether they are points that are working well. So you're not left high and dry. It's almost like I'm in the book with you and I've met you before, so I'm pretty sure I know how you're going to draw at the outset in some cases, and I've preempted that by letting you know these watch points so you can check your work. In this book, you will find some QR codes, and those are little square codes that look like that you zoom in on with your phone. When you do that on your camera setting or on a QR code app, you will come to demonstration videos that I have filmed particularly for this book, and you will find yourself drawing right from the second chapter. I think the first chapter is an introduction, and you'll come to enjoy it, and you'll come to understand that it's not as hard as you think it is. And I hope that I see your drawings in our exclusive Facebook group. And if you're not on Facebook, you can send me your drawings. My email's in the book, and I would love to hear from you. So I hope that I see you online. I hope that I see you on my website, karenfrankel.com, where you can purchase the book from. If you live outside of Australia and you don't want to pay for shipping, which is pretty enormous in these COVID times, you can buy the book as a PDF, which you can watch on your phone, on your tablets, or your computer, and you can simply click on those QR codes. They'll take you to the online demonstrations as well. And I hope that you'll all get drawing. See you then. Bye-bye.